Good evening and welcome to the webinar. We will get started with the session in exactly 5 minutes. So at 4 or 5 p.m., we'll get started with the session. However, we'll use this time for our benefit. We'll use it for two activities. One is we will interact and network amongst one another. And then we'll also try to explain to you how you can seek the maximum benefit from this session. So once again, warm welcome to all the participants into this session. Hope everyone can hear me and you can see me as well, because we'll be doing presentations and we'll be sharing our screen. So that's where if any one of you is having difficulty in hearing us, or if you are having difficulty in seeing us, please do let us know. Now, if you're someone who's joining through your mobile device, in that case, I'll request that you should hold your device in a landscape mode. So you should hold it like this. Now, why so? Because by default, most of the time, whenever we are sharing the screen, that's where the screen will go full screen, and that's where it will automatically switch into the landscape mode. But sometimes I've seen that it does not. In that case, you're seeing it very small. So just turn it around and then it will go landscape. That should solve the problem. In case you're facing that problem, I'm just sort of sharing. Now, if we had been meeting personally in a sort of a workshop or a seminar or a conference, then other than obviously hearing to the knowledgeable speakers who are there, we would be doing a very interesting activity, and that is networking or connecting with one another. Now, this is where we are meeting virtually, so we are not meeting personally, but still we can network and connect. So that's where let me first start with giving a brief introduction, and I'll share my contact details. Now, I will also encourage that you can also network, or you should also network with other wonderful business owners who are also attending this session, right? So you can use the chat, which you'll be seeing down below. So you can use that chat, introduce about your business, what products or services you're offering, and your contact details, your websites, etc. You can start doing that. Now, because I'm recommending you, then it becomes my responsibility as well that I should also take the initiative. So this is where let me firstly share my contact details. So I've chatted my contact details. In the similar fashion, you can also do that. I can see a few of the members have started sharing greetings. Now, in addition to sharing greetings, you should or you can consider adding details about your business, your products and services. Where are you based, your contact details? And if you have a digital catalog, if you have a website, you should add those details as well. We are joined today by Mr. Badrinath Mishra, who's from ONDC, and he'll be enlightening us about ONDC and how you all can benefit from ONDC. So let me firstly give a very short introduction about myself, and then we'll request Mr. Badrinath to share information about ONDC. So, and I'm not sure how many of you have already interacted with me or had a chance to attend one of my webinars. My name is Adnan, and I am Director SME Ecommerce Growth at GlobalLinker. My functional focus area is the digital catalog or the e-commerce website builder platform, Linker.store, and other digital commerce related initiatives around the world. In addition to that, I actively work on guiding or educating SMEs on how they can use digital and technology to grow their business, especially in the new normal. And that's where over the last many years, I've been conducting regular training workshops and seminars in different countries. And so far, I've conducted more than 350 of such sessions, and had the wonderful opportunity of interacting or sharing a few tips or some knowledge with about 12,000 business owners around the world. So that was a quick introduction about myself. Now I'll request Mr. Badrinath if he can introduce himself, and then share with the audience about ONDC and how they can benefit through ONDC.
Thank you, Adnan, and thank you, GlobalLinker and Adnan, for having me here. My name is Badrinath Mishra. I am one of the vice presidents in ONDC. As you know, ONDC stands for Open Network for Digital Commerce. My responsibility is today to give you an overall idea about ONDC and how you can leverage this opportunity. And after that, we'll keep it open for to take a few queries before Adnan takes you through other technical details through GlobalLinker and how you can integrate with ONDC through them. So let me share my screen. I'll be showing you a small presentation, and Adnan, just confirm if you can see the screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Wonderful. So good afternoon, everyone. Again, I'll take you through a small presentation. I would request you to also keep an attention on what I'm going to speak. I'm going to speak many things which are very relevant to your business. And let me start. ONDC, as you know, stands for Open Network for Digital Commerce. ONDC's goal is to dramatically change e-commerce penetration in India. And if you know, the future is e-commerce. Like e-commerce let's appreciate this fact that e-commerce has given scale to business, and e-commerce has given scale to customers. Every business has an intention or objective to reach maximum number of customers possible. And every customer also wishes to have maximum number of catalog or products to choose from. E-commerce is the solution that has given scale, as we know, to both businesses and customers. But if you see India, the e-commerce penetration is extremely low compared to all the developed countries like China, Indonesia, and US. India's e-commerce penetration from our demand side is 6 to 7%. That means whatever total business that we do in India, around 6% of business that happens through e-commerce. And this is B2C business. If you talk about B2B, e-commerce penetration is even lower. It's around 1 to 1.5%, whereas the global e-commerce average for developed countries is close to 20%. Now, if you see the supply side of it, less than 2% of our sellers are digitized. After 2 decades of e-commerce evolution in India, our country, only less than 2% of sellers are digitized. And also, we see very high concentration of this e-commerce penetration, both at selling and buying side, is happening mostly in urban population areas. The rural areas and semi-urban areas are still far away from e-commerce growth. Now, what has stopped people to join e-commerce? And if we talk about businesses, there are very strong pointers why people couldn't join e-commerce. One of them is very limited choice for sellers to be online. So the first option can be you can create your own website. If you create your own website, definitely huge challenge of getting new customers every day or retaining your customers, along with that managing your technology to stay online and do your own business. The other choice which is left is join a marketplace. However, we see there is a very, very high concentration in every sector. For example, if you want to order online food, there are only 2 names that we can think of. If you want to order general merchandise, there are only 2 to 3 names we can think of. If you want to call a taxi, we can think of 2 to 3 names maximum. So that means choices are highly limited for sellers to go online and sell. The other condition is to set their own terms. And I'll give you a quick comparison of both offline and online. In offline, if you are a taxi driver or you have a taxi to give on a rent, you do the service and receive hard cash after that. But if you do it online, there is a lag of money coming back to you. If you own a grocery store, you sell it, you get cash right there. But if you sell online, it takes time for the cash to be received at your end, right? And even if you sell online on marketplaces, when I compare it with online commerce, the margin, the commission, the return period, and the conditions are all dictated by the marketplaces. So definitely there is an inability for our retailers and merchants in India to set their own terms and conditions. Third big point that we see is discoverability, which is if you are available as a seller on platform A, you are not visible to the buyers on platform B. And same goes for the customers or buyers. If they are available on platform A, they cannot see the sellers on platform B. That means you have to be available on all platforms to reach a wider audience. The fourth point is viability. We have seen that big brands and businesses with deep pockets can always do their own website and keep spending money. But for most of the players, to create your own website or application, to manage every part of the value chain is not viable. Now, how ONDC is solving these four challenges is with two basic principles called unbundling and interoperability. Unbundling and interoperability are two principles which we experience in our daily walk of life. But surprisingly, we have never seen it in e-commerce that is happening. So let me take you through what is unbundling. Unbundling is when various components of a value chain are done by different entities. That means when there is a desired result by an institution is designed, for example, customer care of a banking service. When you call your bank, the bank employees do not pick the call. It is the BPO employees who pick the call, right? When you call to your telecom provider, the telecom operator or telecom provider employees don't pick the call. It's the BPO industry where they have outsourced it, they pick the call. That means the same experience which the company of telecommunication or the bank wants to deliver as a service to you as a customer is not being done by them, but by the outsource agency. But still, as a customer, we get the desired result. So now two different companies have come together and contributed to get to the end goal of customer satisfaction. I'll take you a small offline example. The bikes that we ride, the cars that we drive, none of the car or bike companies create their own tires, right? So it is always outsourced to the tire companies who make it more cost effective and efficient. And in order to get all these components together and all the components to function together, we need interoperability. That means they all need to be in sync well so that the end result is achieved. Now, interoperability normally happens in e-commerce or internet or digital transactions on a technology entity called protocol. What is a protocol? Protocol is a set of standard instructions which every component would adhere to, and so that they can make themselves interoperable. I'll give you a small example of a protocol called SMTP, Smart Mail Transfer Protocol. So if Adnan is on Gmail and Badri is on Yahoo, Adnan can send me from his Gmail account to my Yahoo account without thinking that these two are two different companies and two different tech entities. We can still exchange our emails because SMTP is the protocol which had made it possible that Gmail and Yahoo, being two different entities, can interact with each other over certain standard procedures. Adnan has to definitely discover to write to me that my email ID has to be there, which is in the format of something @ something dot something, right? And he can see the to box, the CC box, the BCC box. He can attach something, he can write it in the body, and I receive it in the same format, I can reply. So SMTP is the protocol which made this thing absolutely standardized. In the similar fashion, ONDC also build over a protocol called Beacon Protocol, which is a made in India specification, technology specification. ONDC has adopted this Beacon Protocol and layered it up with more e-commerce layers and features, made it a protocol which makes different components of e-commerce interoperable. I'll take you quickly to the deeper state. So if you are on a platform, we know that searching a product, building a cart, creating a successful checkout, or even talking to the customer care, going back and checking my account for my order status, everything put together, we can call it buying side activity. So a set of activities where the customer or a buyer interacts with any platform is called buying side activity. Now, on the other hand, price management, catalog management, order fulfillment, return and cancellation management, all these things are done together and we can call it selling side activity or seller side activity. Now, if it is a product, it has to be delivered. So if it is a physical product, it has to be delivered, then delivery, let's call it a logistics side activity. Now, on a platform model, all these three sets of activity are managed by the platform itself. The single entity that manages it is the platform. How do they manage it? They have their proprietary protocol, which combines all these three sets of activities, and it gives a desired result as customer experience or customer conversion. Now, if there is another platform, it also has similar kind of activities. Now, on both these platforms, the sellers and buyers cannot discover themselves in a crisscross manner. The sellers and buyers, they need to be on the same platform to discover each other. Now in ONDC, what happens? All these activities are also managed seamlessly, but by different entities. So all the buying activities are managed by an entity called buyer application. The selling activities are managed by an entity called seller application. And the logistics activities are managed by logistics application. The difference is all these activities are managed by three different entities, and they are interoperable over an open protocol called ONDC protocol. It's no more a proprietary protocol, it's an open source and open protocol. Now, the moment we unbundle them and make them interoperable over ONDC protocol, then multiple buyer applications can actually have access to multiple seller applications. And similarly, multiple seller applications can have access to multiple logistics applications. Going quickly into deeper, just a double click here. Any entity who has customers can become a buyer application. And as you know, today, PhonePe, Paytm are two recharge and recharging and payment gateways. They have become two buyer applications. Kotak Mahindra Bank, IDFC First, they have become buyer applications. So the banks and telecommunication ones, the payment gateways, they're becoming buyer application. By becoming buyer application, they have access to millions of catalog being bought by the seller applications. And they also don't do logistics anymore. Logistics are done by the logistics application. Now, let's see the other side. Who can be a seller application? Any business or any entity who has access to catalog can be a seller application. If you sell something, a product or service, you can become a seller application. If any technology entity who has capability to help you consolidate your catalog on them for ONDC can also become a seller application. Like GlobalLinker is a seller application which can enable your catalog seamlessly on ONDC. Now, the benefit for you to be on ONDC, whether as a seller application or a seller, is you have access to millions of customers and you have access to many logistics applications to do your fulfillment. Similarly, for a logistics application, just being on the network, they have access to many businesses who seek their service to fulfill the goods. Now, putting together multiple buyer applications, seller application, and logistics application, ONDC is a universal network of buyer, seller, and logistics providers. As we speak, there are more than 11 buyer applications bringing more than 100 million buyers in the city of Bengaluru and Delhi, highly concentrated, and many other places now on ONDC. There are 32 seller applications bringing more than 47,000 sellers, and these sellers are selling more than 66 lakh products. You can see GlobalLinker on the screen, which is also a seller application on ONDC, bringing more than 25 sellers now and 2,500 products. Now, there are 7 logistics applications to name a few: LoadShare, Dunzo, Delivery, ShipRocket, eCart. They are available on network to help the seller application and sellers to bridge the gap from the source to the destination address. Now, there are many popular names on the screen where you can see they are in the pipeline to become on different stages of integration with ONDC. Now, I would request you scan this QR code, try to place multiple orders from any of the buyer application. These are all the buyer applications you see, and share feedback with ONDC. Would be very happy. You can share feedback with GlobalLinker and we'll come to know about it. So on your screen, Smart Shop, which is by Spice Money, Paytm, Craftsvilla, MyStore, Kotak, Magic Pin, AirPay, and pin code, the logo on the right lower side, green color logo, they are all retail applications. Order Day is a B2B application. Namma Yatri and Yatri are mobility applications. That means Namma Yatri, if you are in Bangalore, you can download Namma Yatri and call an auto. And it's on open network. It's on the same protocol that ONDC functions. And Yatri is available in Kochi, where you can order a taxi or an auto there, and they're all on open network. Now, as I said, if you are a seller or a seller application, you can sell your products and services on the network. And to deliver your goods, you can become on the go, you can become a seller, a logistics application buyer, where logistics applications will sell their service to you to fulfill the goods. As we speak, food and beverages, grocery, home and kitchen, electronics and appliances, fashion, beauty, agriculture, mobility, health and wellness are all active categories on ONDC. Grocery and fashion are available on B2B. The exciting domains like financial products and various services are going to be live very soon on ONDC buying applications and bought by ONDC enabled seller applications. I'll give you a quick example how it is beneficial for different stakeholders. So, for example, I'm in Delhi now, and I got an assignment from Kerala. My company wants me to work from Kerala for next 6 months. So I definitely need a suitcase to pack my goods. I need a flight ticket to go there. I need a service apartment to stay. And I also need to learn the Malayalam language, basics of Malayalam language to interact with the people. Currently, how we do it, I go to various applications and websites, try to compare them, and at least with 4 checkouts, I complete my journey, right? With ONDC, stay assured, the future is you can actually do it on your favorite buying application, any of your favorite buying application with a single checkout. So every supply would be available on all ONDC compliant buying applications and somebody can check out. So for buyers, it's a single platform access to all domains. They don't need to change their mobile application or website. They can still shop from their favorite mobile applications, and they can have access to all the goods and services. And it's a unified experience for them. It's a wider option of products, pricing, delivery, and various add-ons. Hyperlocal stores, we are ensuring that also available. Your neighborhood grocery store, fashion store, health chemist shop, they are also going to be there on the mobile application, which is complied by ONDC. So everyone has wider choice and quicker access to amenities in their neighborhood and or from a distant location. So what is going to play a key role here is the buyer experience on different buyer applications. For a seller, there are a host of benefits. You are discoverable by the entire buyer universe. As I showed you previously, there are more than 100 million buyers today available in Bangalore and Delhi, waiting to show all the products which can be bought by you as businesses. You, with single registration on ONDC, you can be available on all buyer applications. You don't need to draft and agree to different terms and write agreement with individual buyer application. So it's a very low cost access to the entire value chain because logistics are also available. Buyer applications bring demand for your catalog. You can have entire control on the rules and terms of trade. You define your commission, you define the delivery period, you define what is your settlement period and return window. So a lot of control is in seller hands now. With single registration, low maintenance, and decentralized value chain, definitely your profitability will be increased. And if you yourself is a seller application or you are coming through any seller application, they provide you with lot of business analytics, which helps you to price and position your products better so that seller applications also get some benefit out of it. We all know that rating is very critical in e-commerce world. Now, if you are on an application, any marketplace, for example, and you are doing good, you have a 4.7 or 4.8 rating. The moment you start on another application, you have to start from the scratch. On ONDC, you carry your reputation always across the network. That means once you have a high rating or any rating, it is available on all buyer applications the same way, or any new buyer application joins the network, they also start showing your historical rating or your legacy reputation. We all know that if you do well on any platform, normally the platform starts creating or imitating the same product at a better price and start selling. Now on ONDC, as everything is so decentralized and buyer applications only know about their own sales, so there is a very low or no risk of disintermediation. For technology companies, if any one of you is a technology company, as I mentioned, there are three components: buying, selling, and logistics. You can explore the components. You can even go deeper and slice the components. You can create some tech product, which helps our network participants to scale. So for example, if you are an image processing application and you know how to convert product images, photos into catalog images and write content around it, then probably you can be available for all our seller applications where they can take your service and give you a market, which is already available. So very quickly, we understood what is ONDC. Let's understand what is ONDC, what is not ONDC. So ONDC, because it is into e-commerce, it deals with products and services, and we talk about platforms. But ONDC is an application. It's not an application, not a platform, or not a technology product. Exactly like internet. You don't go to internet. You go to a browser, or you go to your Gmail, or you go to Facebook. You can't explore ONDC as is. You have to go to a buyer application like Paytm, PhonePe to explore and experience ONDC. ONDC is an open network. It's a capability and it's a technology infrastructure. ONDC is not a single model. That means with decentralized technology and approach, many things are possible. Many innovations are possible. It's very fertile for innovation, and it's literally infinite models. ONDC is not a central intermediary. It connects buyers directly with the sellers only through buyer application and seller applications. It eliminates the need for any intermediary to play. And ONDC is not a regulator. We do not keep any data. We don't want to create any rule for e-commerce. ONDC respects all the rules which are defined by the government of India. And it is actually a community of applications from buying side, selling side, and logistics side, where they define how to go about it. Any document, any technology that we come up with, we always take our community's input to create it for them. It's a truly made in India revolution. It's a public digital infrastructure, and we function under Ministry of Commerce and Industries. The ministry has a vision that it will democratize digital commerce and enable everybody for a higher scale on open network model. ONDC has an advisory council comprising of stalwarts from different sectors of the industry, from technology, from retail, from finance. There are different stalwarts who are guiding ONDC. We started in June 2021 as a concept, and September 2022, we had a beta launch in Bangalore. Today, ONDC, I must tell you, is available at 273 cities. 2 cities are beta live. That means you see higher concentration of sellers. 273 cities are on alpha live. That means you see low concentration of sellers. You can definitely check whether your PIN code is ONDC compliant. We have 47,000 sellers, as I said, are selling more than 66 lakh products now. So now how to join ONDC? If you are a entity who wants to join as a seller side, that means you have access to catalog, or you have an entity who wants to join as a buying application, that means you have access to customers, or you are an entity who wants to join as a logistics application, that means you have capability to do logistics, then you are welcome. There are two ways. You can develop your own technology and join ONDC, or you can be just a seller and talk to any seller application, including GlobalLinker, and join ONDC through them. Thank you so much. I would stop sharing my screen and would be very happy to take any questions if you have.
Thanks, Pradinath. That was a very detailed and wonderful explanation about ONDC. I can see there are two questions here. One is about the payment cycle. So Shubhajit wants to understand, what about the payment cycle on ONDC? How does that work? And if you allow, I can take the first tab and then you can add on.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Please.
So on ONDC, the payments cycle varies from buyer app to buyer app. But if I have to explain it in a very simple terms, so it depends on the return period. So for example, if you have a 7-day return period, so once your return period is over, after that, it is either weekly or either fortnightly. So some buyer apps have a weekly settlement cycle. So when your return period is over, after that, whatever week is there, in that you'll get the settlement. And if it is a fortnightly settlement, so in that case, after 1 week, so that is like 10 days or 15 days, you'll get the settlement. Adnan, anything you would want to add?
No, absolutely right, Adnan. Now, this is actually defined by the sellers, as you rightly said, and there is no hard and fast rule that you can't change it. It's very flexible. You can always curate and customize it. Yeah.
Sure. So the next question is from the same member. Shubhajit wants to understand if their products are on their store, will it be live on other platforms? Yes, absolutely. They will be.
Yeah. Rajiv is asking, I'm from Kerala and running a service villa, how to connect with ONDC. Rajiv, travel and accommodation is a category which is yet to come on ONDC. The moment it is live, we are ready with our protocols and API contract. Definitely you can join on ONDC. It is simple. As I said, you can become an application yourself and integrate and showcase your villa, or for a quicker and more cost-effective way, you can talk to GlobalLinker kind of entities who have enabled many businesses on ONDC. They will connect you and showcase. You can showcase your catalog on different buyer applications. Hitesh saying, I want no return policy of footwear in ONDC. Absolutely, it's your control. You can always, when you list your products, you can always put an attribute called return as no, so your products will be non-returnable. However, you need to be cognizant about if that impacts your performance, because fashion is also a business which has returns as a reality. It might affect your business, but it's your call.
Absolutely. In fact, when I'll be doing the technical session, that's where I'll be explaining how you can manage that as well. So in case you want to understand from where I can set up or manage the return policies, so I'll explain that as well in the technical session. I can see there are a few questions which have come in the Q&A section. So Ranjana S wants to understand they're on Fio GlobalLinker and they have enabled ONDC, want to understand whether the products are live on ONDC or not. So Ranjana, I'll request if you can drop me a note. So you can either drop me a note on WhatsApp or I've shared my email ID. I'll do that once again with everyone in the chat. So if you want to understand whether your products are live on ONDC or not, or if you have any other question, you can reach out to me and I'll have that answered. So we'll let you know whether your products are live or not. And in case there are any issues or if there's something that you may have missed out, we'll also explain that. In fact, in next few minutes, you'll understand what all are the steps that you have to take to enable your products or start showcasing your products on ONDC. So you'll also get a better clarity. But still, if you can drop me an email, I'll be able to help.
We have a very interesting question, Adnan Burjit Motsa saying,
Right.
how do we advertise on ONDC? Can
Absolutely.
it be targeted towards a certain client category? Yeah. So now, ONDC is an open network. Your catalog is available on all the buyer applications. Our request would be, if you have a target in mind, do best pricing for your product. And because ONDC is decentralized, your cost to market is also very, very low. So what you can do, pass that benefit to your target audience by getting the right pricing on your product. Number two, do a great cataloging so that there is a rich experience at the buyer application end. Number three, do a lot of PR and social media activity around your own brand and products. And give your deep link. You can always take Paytm, PhonePe, Craftsville, MyStore, every deep links, and post it on their social media. Let people experience from wherever they find it. So reaching here would be even wider and easier. You don't need to give any advertising budget, share it with anyone. Rather, pass that benefit to your own target audience. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Now the floor is given to Adnan for the session that he intended.
Perfect.
I would stay silent
before,
and I might drop in a while. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Badrinath. Thanks for your time. So now I think this is time for us to switch gears and move into the technical session. So now I'll start sharing my screen, but still, if you have any questions left, you can drop me an email or you can drop me a message and I'll respond to those. All right, so let's move ahead. I will start sharing my screen and then we'll proceed ahead with the technical discussion. There's a very small presentation that I'll be sharing with you because, and this is something which I've built based on my experience interacting or conducting such similar sessions. So that's where there were a few things which were not very clear to the audience. So I've just created a few slides of presentation just to highlight the benefits of ONDC and just to answer a few questions that might be still there in your mind. So let's move ahead. This is where, although Badrinath has very well explained this in a great detail, the kind of challenges that we face, but this is where I understand that it is easier for us to understand the numbers. So let me just quickly take you through this presentation. Now, if you're a seller, which is here, and we have a buyer, if you have to reach buyer, and this is where I'm not talking about the physical commerce, in the digital commerce, if you have to reach to a buyer, that's where you have an option. You can create your online store or you can participate through marketplace. Now, if you're creating your online store, you have to do digital marketing unless you are a very renowned brand or you're in a niche space. You have to spend here to reach the customer and get the conversions. And similarly, if you're on the marketplace, you have to pay the commissions. Now, if we do very simple calculation, so this is where if online store means your own e-commerce website, if you're wanting to receive, let's say 100 orders and assuming 5% conversion, which is again on a higher side, so that would mean that you have to bring in about 2,000 visitors onto your online store. If we are considering a 20 rupees CPC cost per click, that would mean you have to spend about 40,000 rupees to get this traffic. Now with ONDC, this is saved, or this money is saved because, and that's something that you can pass on to your customers. You're not spending on advertising, and that benefit also helps a lot of micro businesses who does not have that kind of bandwidth or budget to do digital commerce, because creating a website is one thing. You have created the website, but now you have to actively spend to get the customers and then grow your business online. And that's where with ONDC, that challenge is addressed. The second challenge, or the second calculation that you're seeing on the screen, is where if you're receiving, let's say 100 orders through marketplace, 15% commission, average order value is 1,000. So that's where again, about 15 to 20,000 is something that you'll be paying to the marketplace as commission. So this is something which you will be able to save on ONDC. Now, this is where I've tried to again describe the ONDC solution. So this is where you're a seller through GlobalLinker's online store. You'll be showcasing products through ONDC to the buyer application. The buyer will be placing an order which come to your online store, and you'll be delivering it to the customer. So again, the same calculation, 100 orders, average order value 1,000, 1 lakh rupees order, your realization 1 lakh. Now, how does that happen? That's where that is something I'll explain when we'll be discussing the ONDC terms, etc., which are there on the GlobalLinker. Now, we all understand it gives you greater exposure. It is convenient and cost effective. Now, before I go into the technical discussion, here are a few important points, and this is something which is captured on the seller panel. It's also, so you don't worry, this information is there on your online store as well, but I'm just sharing it with everyone in the audience. So these are a few mandatory requirements which are there just to ensure that the quality of catalog which is getting displayed on ONDC network is good enough. So the first point, and I'll just quickly read them out. The first point is you have to ensure that genuine pricing and relevant product description and appropriate images are added to the product. So if your pricing is inaccurate or if you have not added the images, those products will not be displayed on the ONDC network. If you have low inventory, so if the product inventory is less than 5 units, those products will not be displayed on ONDC. Ensure so when you're signing up on ONDC, that's where you're adding your bank details. On those bank details or in that bank account, the settlement is done. So when the buyer makes the payment or when the buyer app makes the payment, that is credited to your bank account. So that's where just ensure that you have added the bank details properly. All the ONDC orders should be dispatched within 24 hours from the time of receipt. Otherwise, you'll be breaching the SLA. Ensure to track and update the order status as soon as the order is delivered to the customer. Now, if you're using the automated logistic, obviously it gets updated automatically. But in case you're using a third-party logistic or you're delivering it yourself using your own delivery boy, so in that case, just ensure that you're updating the order status. Otherwise, again, unknowingly or unnecessarily, you'll be violating the SLA. The last point which is there, and it is highlighted in a different color, that is all the effort should be made to avoid cancellation of ONDC orders. If you have cancelled 3 orders from ONDC, that's where you will get delisted from the network. You should avoid doing that. So these were few mandatory requirements. Now, let's understand how to start showcasing products on ONDC. I am now switching my screen. This is the seller panel of your online store. In case you're worrying or if you're wondering how to access this seller panel, just log into your account, click on online store, which is here, which will open the seller panel. This is the seller panel. Now let's quickly move on and let's understand the step 1. It requires multiple steps. So I'm going to first explain the step 1 in enabling ONDC onto your online store. So in the left navigation, you have to click on store settings. And after that, you have to click on store details, which is here. I'm repeating the steps once again for everyone's reference. So the step number 1 is obviously to open the seller panel of your online store. Once you have opened the seller panel, in the left navigation, you'll see there's an option called store settings. You have to click on that, which will expand the navigation and it will reveal an option called store details. You have to click on that option and which will open the store details tab. It will have a horizontal navigation. Now here, you can see towards the end, that's where you have enable ONDC, and you all will be very tempted to do that, but I would advise not go there. There's one more check that you have to do. What is that check? So here you can see there's a tab called address. You have to click on that, and this is where I'm not seeing that you may have made this mistake, but you should come here and ensure that the address that you have added is correct and the Google location is also updated. So these are few things. So you go to enable ONDC, and that's where you're not able to do that. And that's where you'll get stressed. And then you'll reach out to the help desk and we'll tell you that this is the mistake which is there. You haven't updated your Google location, and that's why it is not working. So just to avoid all that hassle, very simply, come to the address tab, just check the address is added properly and the Google location is updated. So just two checks. This is where you'll see the address. You can just review and update it. And this is where you have the Google location. So just update it. Once you are done, click on save and the address is updated. Once you have updated this, that's where you'll go to enable ONDC. And this is the section. I've added the details just for reference. Let me just show you how you'll see it. So this is the form which you will see. The first piece of information that you have to add is your GST number. You have to just input it here. And after that is your bank details. You have to add your bank details. So again, IFSC code, bank name, branch, account number, current or saving, and then the name which is there in your bank account, the company name which is associated with the bank account. So that information you have to add. Now, you might be wondering, why are we asking bank details from you? A lot of people have asked me this question. So here you have to understand how the model works. So GlobalLinker is representing all the sellers which it has on the ONDC network. So whenever an order gets placed, it comes to your online store and you deliver that. But the buyer app, or for example, if we take Paytm as an example, or we take My Store, or we take Craftwell as an example. So in that case, customer has placed an order on Craftwell. It is fulfilled by you. Craftwell will make the payment to GlobalLinker and we will make the payment to you. So that's where we need your bank details so that we can credit the payment to you. All right. So that's why we need your bank details. And it is extremely important that you should add these details properly, just double check them. And we have already experienced that people have added wrong details. They have added wrong IFSC code and then the payment failed, all that. So it just basically delayed their settlement by a few days. So just to avoid all that hassle, please ensure that you're adding the bank details correctly. Underneath that is the beneficiary address. Now, in case the address which is associated with your bank account is the same which you have added on the online store, you don't have to add any information here. All you have to do is you have to click on this option, save same as the store address, and then it will get automatically populated. But in case it is different, in that case, just populate these details. So this is the address which is associated or linked with your bank account. Once you have added all that information, you have to click here. This is where we have the terms of ONDC participation. Now, don't just click there, also read these terms. So this is where if you click, it will open another page, and that's where you have all the ONDC terms. So this is where you have your eligibility, your order fulfillment, settlement charges and fees, termination of fees, etc. So all those details are there. Now, if you recall, while I was explaining that entire process flow, and that's where I've showed you a calculation, and that's where I told you that the order 100 orders, the order total was 100,000 or 1 lakh, and then sellers earning was 1 lakh also. So how is that? So that's where buyer apps don't do this for charity. So obviously they are charging a commission. Now, what happens? The commission that they are charging is added as a separate line item called convenience fee. And that's where the buyer is paying that convenience fee. So as a seller, you essentially don't pay anything for the sale that you're making or doing through the ONDC network. All right. So that was something I thought of clarifying because I recall one of the members wanted to understand that. All right. So review the terms. It will give you a better clarity on the working of ONDC. Just review it once. It's not a very long document, so you'll be able to read it in like 5 minutes. And once you are done, click on save and enable. There is one common mistakes that I've noticed that people do. So they click on save and enable, but what they forget is to enable this button. So they have added all the details and clicked on save and enable. And then again, nothing is happening on the online store. Why is that? Because you haven't enabled ONDC from here. So don't make that mistake. So in case you're facing the challenges, come here and check whether you have enabled it. And this is where you can see the mandatory requirements, which I was explaining you in the presentation. Those are also listed here for your reference. All right. So this is step number 1. Very easily, go to your online store, click on store settings, store details, check the address if it is updated properly, including the Google link, and then come here, add your GST number, bank details, address which is associated with the bank, review the terms, and then enable this one, and then click on save and enable, and which will enable ONDC onto your online store. All right. So this is where we have enabled the ONDC feature. Now, this does not mean that your products are now visible on ONDC. It does not mean that you have just done the first step. Let's understand what is the second step that you have to do. So for that, we have to navigate to the product section. For that, in the left navigation, we'll click on catalog, and then we'll click on products, which is here, which will take us to the product section. Now, you have to do this update manually, and very soon we are going to introduce a new process where you don't have to manually update one product, but for the time being, you have to manually update one product, and then you can update it in bulk. So let me just show you how you'll be able to, or how you will be updating the products, or just not to confuse everyone. So go to the product section, choose any product, click on edit, any one product, you can click on edit. This page will open up. So once you click on edit, this is the page which will open up. Scroll down all the way to the bottom. That's where you'll see add ONDC related details. So once you click on it, this is where you'll see ONDC parent category and ONDC subcategory. You click on it, and that's where you'll see the category. So for example, this is a smartwatch. So we'll select electronics, and then the subcategory dropdown will be populated. And this is where we have to select a subcategory, and that's where we have a smartwatch category. So I'll select that, and then we'll click on save, and which will update the ONDC related information. So that's how you have to update that. Now, once you have done this, then you have to navigate to this tab, which is price and variant. So there's the tab where you have to navigate to, and then you have to click on this icon, which looks like a pencil. It is a edit icon. So you click on that, and then this overlay opens up. On this overlay, again, you have to scroll down. And here again, you'll see ONDC related details. You click on it, and that's where you have to add the manufacturer or packer name. This is where you don't have to add your business name. I've seen that people are adding their own business name. No, this is where the manufacturer name. So for example, if this smartwatch was manufactured, or it is from Boat, which is the smartwatch brand. So in that case, you have to add the Boat's manufacturing address. The manufacturer will be Boat, or whatever is the legal entity type. Then you'll have the manufacturer or packer address, month and year of manufacture, and net quantity. Now, net quantity for most product will be 1, but there are certain products where you have like more than 1 unit, right? So in that case, combo, or there are products which has multiple components. In that case, you can add net quantity. So for example, a pack of deodorants, so it has 3 deodorants. So those kind of in those cases, you'll have net quantity, which will be higher value. Otherwise, it will be 1 only. So you can input all these details and then click on save, which will update the variant level information. So there's the product level information, there's the variant level information. Now, in case you are into groceries, that's where there are a few additional fields that you have to put. So I'll also show you that. So for a moment, we'll change the category just to demonstrate or show to you what are those additional fields. So I'll select groceries, and I'll just select gourmet and world food. And that's where you'll see you have to also provide the IFSC code. So this is where the manufacturer, importer, or brand. So any of the 3, you have to put in the IFSC code. Once you are done, click on save. So let's add something dummy here for the time being. And now we'll go to the price and variant, and we'll click on edit. And here also you'll see there are these additional fields, which is additive information and nutritional information. So in groceries, certain categories which are basically edible item, that's where there are certain additional fields or additional information which are required. So you have to provide those, just sharing for everyone's reference. Now, this is where once you have added these details, so once you have basically selected the right category, let's select the right category once again. So once you have selected the right category and you have added these details, I've added these details and price and variant. This product will now start appearing on the ONDC network. It takes about 24 hours to start appearing on the ONDC network, but it will start appearing. That's why I'm not adding the details here. Otherwise, this is a dummy product. It will start appearing on ONDC. But this is the process that you have to follow. Now, many of you will have more than one product, or many of you will have like a sizable catalog where it is not feasible to update information like this. So is there a bulk process which is there? Yes, absolutely. But for one product, at least you'll have to do this. Even if you are wanting to update the product information in bulk, at least on one product, you'll have to follow the steps that I've just explained to you. Add the relevant ONDC category and then add the variant level information on this overlay. Once you are done, that's where now you can go and you can now update the information in bulk. How can you do that? Let me explain to you. So this is where you have to firstly click on this option, which is a download product, and that will download an Excel file onto your device. For the benefit of time, I've already downloaded it. And let me just zoom in a little bit so that the screen is a little bigger and you can see the information in a better way. This is the same product smartwatch that we were seeing here. So if you go to the extreme right side, that's where you'll see there are these fields, ONDC category and subcategory. Now this is where you have to be slightly conscious because the parent category is in the column P and in the column O is a subcategory. So this is the subcategory and this is the parent category. So just add them appropriately. Once you have added all these categories, save this file and click here, update products, and the category mapping gets updated. In case you are in a grocery business, in that case, you'll also have columns for IFSC code addition. So you can add the IFSC code for the relevant product. All right. So once you have updated this file, then you have to download this file. So it is again a two-step process. First, this file is downloaded and then uploaded from here after adding the relevant information. And then you have to download this file, which is download CSV, which will download this file. I have also downloaded this for the benefit of time. This is the file which will get downloaded. So again, the same product, when smartwatch. Now, if you again scroll to the extreme right side, that's where you'll see other filters. You'll see the columns for these manufacturer, packer name, address, etc. So you have to input the information in each row, save the file, go back to the seller panel, click on bulk edit CSV. So last time we click on upload product. This time we have to click on bulk edit CSV and then upload CSV, upload that file, and the products will get updated in bulk. And then again, after 24 hours, they will start appearing on the ONDC network. All right. Whenever you receive an order, it will be highlighted separately so it will have a different series. It will also have details about the buyer application from where it is received. And generally, especially for the newer sellers who are processing the orders for the very first time, our operation team connects with them and guides them in fulfilling the initial few orders so that they are well versed and they can do it quickly and without breaching the SLA. So this is how you'll be able to enable ONDC onto your online store. There are a few things that you have to keep in mind. One is in terms of pricing, you should try to ensure that the pricing is as competitive as possible. Now on ONDC, majority of the product discovery is happening through search. And that's where you have to ensure that the product title or the product description that you're adding is optimized, or you have incorporated all the relevant keywords which are there. So all the relevant keywords should be there so that your product gets better visibility when someone is searching it on a buyer application. So those are the few things that you should consider. In addition to that, images, etc., are needless to mention. Presentability is important, but having the right information or having the right keywords in product title and description will greatly enhance the search experience and greatly enhance the visibility on the ONDC network. All right. So this is where I'll turn off the screen share and we'll break into the question answer round. So if you have any question, if there's anything you would want to understand, please add them in the Q&A. I can see there are a few questions in the audience. I can see there's a question by Abhijit. They have an online store built on Magento. How can we integrate? Abhijit, I'll suggest you can migrate your online store to GlobalLinker, and that's where you can use our platform. It is a DIY free platform. There's no subscription or there's no hosting charges that you have to pay. And in addition to that, you get to host on a PCI DSS certified infrastructure. If you want to avail professional service, if you want to avail services of professionals who can set up the online stores, who can basically migrate your products to the new store, that option is also available. You can reach out to me and I'll get you connected with the right person from our team. Next question is from Durga Prasad. And the answer is the subscription model is not available at the moment, but this is under in the roadmap. So whenever it is available, you can start utilizing or you can start showcasing your products on ONDC. Next question is from Savita K. If we are ourselves manufacturer, then how can we list? So you have to just create an online store similar to what I was showing to you, and then you can start your upload your products, and then you can start showcasing your products on ONDC. And I would strongly recommend, because if you're a manufacturer, that's where obviously you'll have the best pricing advantage. So you should create an online store and start showcasing your products on ONDC. Mr. Sundaraj, I think you missed to add the next part of your question. Ritik G, I didn't understand your question. GST will be regular or composition. So if you can elaborate more, or you can drop me a note and then we can connect offline as well to understand your query. Next question is GlobalLinker one of the seller platform? Yes, absolutely. GlobalLinker is one of the seller platform on ONDC, but on GlobalLinker, there are obviously a lot of other advantages that you'll get in case you're wondering, or if you're wanting to compare ONDC with if you're wanting to compare GlobalLinker with other seller platforms. Firstly, it is a DIY free platform. So you can create an online store. You don't have to pay any subscription fee, no hosting charges, no maintenance charges, nothing is required. You can operate your online store absolutely free. There are certain premium features. If you require to use them, then only you have to subscribe to a premium model. Now, in addition to that, GlobalLinker is not just a platform, it is an ecosystem where it has members or participants from 150 countries and more than 450,000 business from around the world. Now you can connect and network with them. There are specialized discovery platforms like Indian Business Portal is part of the GlobalLinker ecosystem, where you can go and you can showcase your products or offerings to international buyers. And there are similar other platforms which are also underway. So when you're joining GlobalLinker, that's where you're not just creating an online store, you are getting benefit of a lot of other features are not available with the other seller platform. Next question is from Mr. Sundar. Wants to understand for ONDC, it has to be current account in the name of sole proprietorship or has to be company. So even if it is a current account in your company's name or in your name, if you're a sole proprietorship, it will be in your name. So in that case, you can join that. It has to be a current account. That should suffice. I think that question got repeated. Is it possible to transfer your store from other platform to GlobalLinker? Yes, absolutely. You can do that. And in case you want to avail service of professionals who can help you in transferring your store from other platform to GlobalLinker, you can reach out to me and I'll get you connected with a relevant team member. Ritikji, regular GST will work. So you don't have to provide the composition GST. Kartika C, the question is not clear. Doll making with K-tree. The question is not clear. So you can either write to me and I'll try to answer your question. Share appropriate response. I can see there are a few comments in the chat as well. Can we share the recording on WhatsApp? So the recording will be emailed to you. So on the email ID which you have used to register for this webinar, you'll get an email with the recording of this webinar, and the recording will also be available on our YouTube channel. So you can go to YouTube and search for GlobalLinker, and that's where you'll find the recording. I can see there's a question or there's a comment by Mr. Dinesh, and in terms of service. So, Mr. Dinesh, firstly, it varies from requirement to requirement. So, depending on what is your requirement, that's where the cost is given. And also, this is a one-time charge. So, it is not like you'll be paid annually or you have to pay this amount every month, or this is a one-time charge that you're paying. And after that, you don't have to pay. Now, this is where if you do a let's do a comparison with Shopify. So in that case, you'll be paying like $28 per month. So for till the time you're using the platform. So this is where you're not paying any subscription fee, you're not paying any hosting charges, etc. All that is available to you. And what is being charged is for the fees of the professionals who will be creating your online store. Right, so it is a one-time charge, and we have done the calculation. So it is one of the most economical online setups which are available in India, at least. I can see there's a point by Mr. K. Rajesh. Update the products in the portal. You mean the online store? That's something that I've explained in the session. Bhavishji, so as it was explained by Badrinath as well, and we are working on bringing in B2B on ONDC. It will take some time, and that's where you will be able to deal in bulk. So that should solve your problem. If you want to cater to retail customers, in that case, what you'll have to do is to maintain certain stock, and based on that, you can retail or sell to retail customers. I can see there's a comment by Mr. Ritik, commission on footwear. I'm not sure if you were there when I was explaining the about the commission model. So this is where what we are doing. We are adding back the commission which buyer apps are charging as a line item called convenience fee, and it is being paid by the customer when they are placing the order. So you're not paying any commission as such, only the GST charges. Can we sell our products on abroad through ONDC? Not at the moment, but through GlobalLinker, definitely. We have a platform called Indian Business Portal, which is created to promote exports to international customers. In fact, 4 p.m. tomorrow, we'll be doing a session, and this time we are doing the session specially in Hindi. There's a lot of exporters were requesting for a session in Hindi. So if you want to join, just go to GlobalLinker and search for Indian Business Portal, and that's where you can find the link to join tomorrow's session. Otherwise, every week we do sessions on Wednesdays and Friday about Indian Business Portal. You can participate into that. ONDC, yes, will be coming to international, but it will take some time. But as an immediate offering, you have Indian Business Portal. So you create an online store and start showcasing your products to international audience. All right. So any last minute questions before we conclude the session? So I cannot see any other questions. So thank you everyone for taking our time and participating in the session. I hope you found the session informative and you were able to understand about the ONDC network and how you can use the GlobalLinker's online store to start showcasing your products or services products at the moment. So how can you start showcasing products on ONDC and start growing your business? So once again, thank you and have a wonderful evening ahead. Bye-bye.